Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the deviation and deviation management in pharmaceutical industry. So first thing first, we'll start with the what is the definition of deviation, and then we'll see the deviation management and different types of deviation and which are all the ways which by which we can manage the deviation. So deviation is any departure from the approved instruction, procedure, specification, or established standards. For example, you have set up any procedure or instructions. Then, while performing that particular procedure, if any departure happens or any what we call if someone not followed that procedure as it is, that condition will be called as deviation. So this could be in terms of procedure. This could be in terms of your specification as well. For example, instead of maintaining the particular specification, you got deviated out of that, out of trend or out of a specification. That will also be called as deviation. So I will repeat the definition. A deviation is any departure from the approved instruction, procedure, specification, or established standards. That will be considered as deviation. So this could include your manufacturing process deviation, analytical test or test method deviation, even your equipment or the facility related deviation, and lastly, your documentation errors. In simple terms, what was happen versus what actually happened, and they don't match. So in simple term, we could say like this. So I hope you have understood the deviation. Now we'll discuss about the what are types of deviation. So based on the planning, there are two types. One is the planned deviation, and second one is unplanned deviation. There are certain deviation which are planned in nature. For example, you know that in future we'll be going to change particular equipment. Okay, equipment change because of maintenance or any other activities. So you already know that this deviation will going to happen. That kind of deviation will be called as planned deviation. So here the pre-approved before execution. Here before executing, let's suppose you are changing the equipment. Before changing equipment, you have the approval. That's why it's called as pre-approved before execution. And this is used when the deviation is intentional and justified. So in this example, it is intentional. Obviously, you already know that this kind of deviation will going to happen. This is intentional, and this is also justified because we need and certain kind of calibration of equipment, or they want to change because of some maintenance or something. So this is justifiable. So that's why it's called as these kind of deviation are intentional and justified. Example include using alternate equipment due to the maintenance, which we have already discussed. The second type we have, which is the unplanned deviation. So what is the difference between these? Obviously, this occur uh, unexpectedly. So there were no plan. This happened like unintentionally, and this must be recorded and investigated. So first thing we have to record it, we have to document it properly, and then we have to carry out investigation. Why this deviation happened? Where the exactly the like error happened? Is it manual or because of some instrument or something? So all that kind of investigation we have to carry out for this deviation, and also we have to document it. Example is temperature increase during the manufacture. So for example, you need to maintain a temperature of 30 degrees Celsius while manufacturing, but because of some error, it got increased to the 35 degrees Celsius. So first of all, we have to record it like this kind of deviation is happen, and then we have to carry out investigation why this temperature got increased. Is there any fault into the sensors? Is there any human error or instrumental error? All this kind of investigation that we have to carry out once this unplanned deviation occurs. Then another classification we have for the deviation, which is the based on the severity, how severe the deviation was. So first we have like minor deviation. If it is, if it does not have an high impact over your product quality, safety, efficacy, then it will be called as minor. Then we have major deviation. If it has an potential impact on product quality, and then we have critical deviation. So these are the three types of deviation based on the severity. So we'll see first minor deviation. It has no impact on product quality or patient safety. Example are minor documentation error. So if there is any minor documentation error, let's take an example of spelling mistakes. So because of spelling mistake, your product quality or patient safety will not going to hamper, right? So that will be called as minor deviation. Second, we have the major deviation, like it has an potential impact on the product quality. That's why it's called as a major deviation. This requires the detailed investigation. All the from recording the deviation to the investigation, CAPA, all this procedure we have to carry out in case of major as well as critical uh, deviation. Moving on to the last one, that is critical. It has direct impact on product quality, safety, and data integrity. And this may leads to the batch rejection or recall. So that's why it's called a critical deviation. Now we have understood what deviation is, in which scenario like it happen, what are the its type based on severity as well as based on the planning. Now we'll see the deviation management life cycle. If any deviation happens, how the procedure is carried out from identification, recording to CAPA or closing that deviation, how this life cycle proceeds. So first step into the deviation management is the identification, obviously. So the deviation is observed during the manufacturing, testing, review. So immediately we have to report. At any stage it could happen, even at documentation stage, it doesn't matter. So anyone who noticed the deviation, he or she has to report that deviation immediately to the either quality assurance or the particular department. The second step into the deviation management, it is the recording. So here the logged in deviation management system and the unique deviation number is assigned. So once the reporting or identification is done, then we have to record it. So we have to put it into the deviation management system, and then the particular deviation number is assigned to the all the deviation. Moving on to the classification. This is the third step into the deviation management. Again, the we have already seen the deviation has three major types. Like the it could be minor deviation, major deviation, or the critical deviation. So based on the what kind of deviation happen, we have to identify is it major deviation, minor deviation, or critical deviation. And then we also have to carry out the impact assessment, impact investigation, depth, and escalation. After classification, we have to move towards the immediate action, like corrective action we have to take. This action taken to contain the issue, for example, stop the process or the quarantine the batch. So these are some of the immediate action we have to take. And after that, we have carried out the investigation. What was actual root cause of that particular deviation? And to carry out this investigation, we could use the various tools. And some of the common tools which are used into the industry are like 5 why method. We have to cross question the that particular deviation, why it happens, uh, like whether any personal error was there or the instrumental error was there, then what kind of like precaution we need to take to avoid it into the future. So we have to cross question it and like we have to investigate that deviation into the detail. Another some of the tool like Fishbone diagram is there, which is also called as an Ishikawa, or the fault tree analysis. There are tools which are used for the investigation of the deviation. Then, so these are some of the questions which we could ask while identifying the deviation. Once the investigation done, then we have to carry out the impact assessment to evaluate the does that deviation cause the any impact on the product quality? Does it impacted the patient safety or the regulatory compliance, or does it cause any data integrity issue? So this kind of impact assessment we have carried out once the identification and assessment of your deviation. Then after impact assessment, the most important steps into the deviation management, that is the CAPA, corrective and preventive action we have to take. So obviously this corrective action will going to fix your current issue and preventive action will going to prevent the recurrence of that particular deviation into the future. Example could be your like retraining the staff or the SOP revision. So this could be your corrective and preventive action. Then like at the end after the CAPA, we have like QA review and closure. This quality assurance review will take place. They will investigation adequacy and CAPA effectiveness, and the finally deviation will be formally closed. And then this is some of the like monetary step trending and monitoring. So this is just to ensure like they just monitor so that the this kind of deviation should not happen into the future. Now we'll like dive in deep into the like this root cause analysis. This is one of the critical part. A strong deviation system depend on identifying the true root cause, not the symptoms. So types of root cause could be your human error, equipment failure, or the method issues, material defects, or system or the process gaps. If there was a weak root cause analysis, it will lead to the implementation of weak CAPA, weak corrective and preventive action, and this will lead to the repetitive deviation. So that obviously we don't want to be in our process. That's why the root cause analysis is one of the very critical steps into your deviation management. Moving on to the deviation, we'll see what is the difference between the deviation out of specification and out of trend. So first one, like if you see the what is the deviation? Deviation is the process departure and out of specification and out of trend. In case of deviation, the scope is broad, obviously, and it required the inspection or the investigation. Sorry. In case of out of specification, so in this out of specification, your particular product or the active substance, whatever, it's going from that particular assigned specification. It's deviating from your assigned specification. So in this case also investigation is mandatory. But in case of train, the investigation is conditional because Out of trend does not mean it's going out of your specification, right? Because let's suppose you are taking reading of release data and you have found the release is occurring into the particular pattern, but then you have saw some deviation or deviation into the release. But the particular deviation was not the out of specification. It was just going out of trend. Still, it was the out of trend, but it was within specification. So that's why investigation is conditional, optional in this out of trend case. So all out of specification are deviation, but not all deviation are out of specification. Moving on to the some of the example, for example, manufacturing deviation. The temperature exceeded limit during the granulation, and action could be stop the process, then investigate sensor failure, and assess the batch quality. In case of documentation deviation, for example, there is missing the signature in batch records. Action will be investigate the human error and retrain the operator. Best practice will be report the deviation immediately, obviously. Whenever anyone observes any deviation in any process, they should inform to the particular department or the quality assurance department. Avoid the human error as default root cause and ensure the scientific justification. Perform CAPA and conduct periodic trend analysis as well as maintain strong quality assurance oversight. So final summary will be like deviation management is not just an documentation, it's a scientific investigation system that ensures the product quality, patient safety, as well as regulatory compliance. Strong system will lead to a few recalls, that is an successful inspection. So that's all about the deviation management. Thank you.